Hey, farming friends, it's me, your old buddy Mr. Moose, back with another edition of Farming Simulator 2017. And today we are going to begin our career in farming. I've been focused so much on multiplayer and getting the dedicated server up that I haven't even started a single player game yet. That's what we're going to do today, so we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to be playing on hard mode because I like a challenge, you know what I mean? On Goldcrest Valley, I'll be Moose with the red shirt. And these are the mods that I'm going to be using during this. Most importantly are the crop destruction mod, and then we've got the no collision cameras mod in, and then of course drive control and GPS mod from Upside Down. I can't say enough about Upside Down. I mean, really, if he had wanted to, he could have just not done any mods for FS17 because he is working on cattle and crops. But if you read the comments that he put on drive control, he does state down in the bottom of it that while cattle and crops will be ready in early access will be ready in the spring, he does intend to go ahead and support FS17 with his mods so that we can go ahead and have a good time with it up until cattle and crops gets released. And so you can't say enough about that guy. That's just a class act to go ahead and say, you know what, I'm working on this project, but in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys these so you can have fun and you have a good gaming experience with Farm Sim up until cattle and crops comes out. And that's just that's a class act, and I can't say enough about that guy to do that, as well as the guys at cattle and crops for letting him do it. Because I'm sure they've got some sort of, like, you know, you wouldn't go out and do that on your own without telling your boss what you're doing, you know. So, all right, let's get the top opened up on this thing. Let's go ahead and get our unit dropped down a little bit so we can see what we're doing. And we'll jump in cab. We'll go ahead and enable the GPS so that we can see where we're at. Get our width set up for that. Also want to go ahead and config my track IR, and I'll give you one little tip. If you look straight at your monitor and you reset track IR in the combine, it's really high up, and to look down and see what's going on in the combine down the floor or down in the cutter head, what's coming in, you really have to look down. So when you reset your track IR for the combine, look up a little higher than you normally would. Reset it there, and then when you pull your head down to your natural position, you're going to have a nice clean look out the window. You'll be able to see the cutter head really well. It'll make life that much better for you when you're in the combine. That generally applies for most of the machinery in the game, I have found. Pretty much I have found that all of them are that way. They're just a little bit off. Let me snap to my GPS line here, and we will get started combining. I'm going to lower my thresher head down just a little bit. It looks like it's a little high. There, looks pretty good. And we're off and running. So I'm going to do things a little bit different in my single player game because we are in hard mode. And I want to take advantage of everything I do in the game and make the most money while I'm playing. So there's a few things I'm going to do a little bit different. I'm not going to plant immediately. I am going to go ahead, get this field harvested so it doesn't wither and die in the fields. And get that done. Take care of my own crops first. And then I'm going to go run a mission, maybe two, to go ahead and make a little bit of side money so that we can afford to get a few more implements onto the farm, such as a good plow, and go from there. My idea is I'll do this, get this field harvested. I'm not going to sell the wheat immediately. I'm going to put it in the silo so when I get a high demand for wheat, I can go sell it off. I'll go do a side mission, make some money on there. If I make enough money, I'll go ahead and get a plow. Once I have the plow, then I can come back, set all of these fields up to grow. Then we'll go do another mission, and we'll come back and buy some more equipment. My idea for equipment wise purchase wise is to get the plow first and then retool one of my tractors to be able to have a front loader on it, so I'll be able to put seed and fertilizer into my sowing machine. Now I know you can back right up to the pallets, hit your refill button, and it'll refill them automatically, but they went through the whole trouble of making it a bag system so that you can lift it up, put it over your seeder, dump the seed in like you would in real life. And since I like to do things as close to real life as possible, I will be actually doing it that way. So the first two pieces of machinery I need to buy, or implements I need to buy, are a plow, and I need a front loader arm and a pallet fork so I can actually lift my seed bags and put seed into my to my seeders. So that I will be doing right off the bat. So those will be the first two pieces I buy. So the order of what I think I'm going to do is harvest this field, do a mission, get enough money to buy the plow and the front loader arm and pallet, come back, plow, cultivate, seed, fertilize the field while I'm seeding, and get the fields ready and growing. And while they're doing their first growth state, I'll go to another mission, hopefully make enough money to purchase a weeder so that we can come back and weed the fields after their first growth state, get that fertilization bonus from weeding. Then we'll go back and do another job, and hopefully by that time we have enough money to buy a fertilizer sprayer, and then we can come back to the fields and fertilize them for the last growth state, and we should have the full 100% growth bonus on the fields, and we'll be ready to harvest at that point. So that's my game plan anyways, as a way to get started in hard mode. I don't know, hard mode doesn't seem so hard with the missions. Most of them pay pretty good. Now some of your smaller fields are only going to give you like $6,000, plus if you get the time bonus you'll get that extra little bit of money. I was messing around last night and did one on a small field. I cut it so fast the time bonus was almost as good as what the actual field paid. So you can actually cash in a lot of money doing the missions, so it almost makes hard mode easy. But that's the way the game's designed, and that's what I'm going to take advantage of it. So we will get that going. Ah, the green star sounds. Yes, I did go in and edit my GPS. I actually don't know what the sound of the new GPS is, whether he used the standard sounds or if he used the modified green star sounds, but I like the green star sound, so I modified mine. I like it. It's what I'm used to in real life, you know what I mean? Familiarity, it's something that you like. So we'll run through this field, get it all harvested up, and get our grain deposited into the silo. And then we'll consult the map and see what kind of money we can make doing some side jobs. So in case you haven't seen, I'm sure most of you guys are watching the mod sites like Hawks, but there is a new version of Drive Control out. It is version 4.2, I believe. We were having some issues with the server locking up after I put Drive Control in it, and so I have an idea that 4.02 will fix that. But again, tip of the hat to Upside Down for taking the time to not only get his mods ported over to 17, but to continuing to support them as well. Oh, I put it out, there was an issue with it, let me get out a fix. You know, he's continuing to show support for the farm community, and that's just kudos to him. I mean, he's my hero. because playing without those two mods is, I mean, once you've played so long with them, you're so used to them, it makes life a little bit more difficult. And you know, for those who see GPS as a cheat or whatever in the game, nah, GPS is a way of life in the farm community. The fact that Farm Sim didn't actually add it into the game is, to me, just astonishing, because GPS is pretty much standard in all equipment now. It improves your, it improves your efficiency, which at the end of the day means less waste, less spoilage, less overhead, more bottom line. And in farming, increasing that bottom line is what it's all about. Decreasing your overage, overspray, overseeding, waste. That's the most important thing you can do. So spending that little bit of extra money for technology that's going to help you out with that is, it's a no-brainer. All right, 98%, 99%. We'll go ahead and stop her right here. So let's go ahead and turn off the combine. And we'll jump out and we'll go get our tractor real quick. Man, I love all those squeaky sounds. They are so awesome. A lot of people keep asking me about the game, if I like it, what I think about it. I love it. I really do love it. And, you know, I think I did the right thing by not getting all hyped up about Farm Sim and actually just waiting to see what it was all about once I got it, because that way I didn't overhype it in my head to something that it wasn't. And now that I actually have it and see all the things that they did in the game, I'm really digging it and liking it and enjoying it, having fun. I mean, they took 15 and they gave it a lot of new features and a lot of bonus into it. Now there's still a lot that I think they fell short on, but for the most part they did a pretty good job of getting a good product out there. And some of the things, like the new mission system, is great. I hated the old mission system in 15 with the moving the pallets around and stuff. That just was the mowing and the pallets, nah. There's more variety in the mission system in this. I like that. And the whole thing that you can build up reputation with the farmers is great. So that part of it's really good. Other parts of it, not so much. I think they fell short on some things, like the whole trailer package in this game. The fact that they put in a new lowboy is awesome, but at the same time, they fell short on the fact that they didn't put tie-down straps on the lowboys. Now, there are people who tell me you can strap down things on the lowboy. I haven't been able to yet. I've gone around it and looked and can't find a way to strap anything down. We took the seed pallet, we took the lowboy, the Flegel lowboy, over to the shop, bought a whole bunch of seed pallets, put the seed pallets on there, and me and 3 other people tried to strap down that trailer, and none of us could find a strap down. So I don't think it's me imagining that I can't strap anything down to it. I just don't think you can strap anything on it. You can strap down on the bale trailer, but you can't seem to strap down on that trailer. So a little disappointed in that. Other cool little things though that they added, like the Stifa, or I don't even know how to pronounce it, but the little small logging trailer, the ability to either get it as a logging trailer or as a bale trailer. I thought that was really cool. I thought that was a nice thing, but they missed the ball with not, they put in a day cab and a nice, long haul semi, but we didn't get like a flatbed trailer that you can use for hauling seeds and fertilizer. You made seeds and fertilizer an integral part of the game now, but you didn't give us a good way to haul that to the farm, and I'm disappointed in that. Yeah, I can put a couple of them in the back of the pickup truck and haul it over here. That's fine, but yeah, I still would have rather had a small gooseneck trailer or a bumper pull for the pickup truck to go get supplies with, or give me a semi trailer that is a flatbed that I can go haul it with. You know, and while we're on the subject of equipment, you know, give me a forklift that I can keep over at the that is specifically there for the shop to lift the materials that you're buying to put them into a trailer. So especially since the reset point of the farm is right there at the shop, you can't reset anything automatically to the farm anymore, which means if you want to go buy something at the shop, you got to go get it at the shop. And if you're wanting to do realistic farming, I don't want to have to drive my tractor over there all the time to get an implement. I don't want to have to drive everything over there, a loader. I've got to drive a trailer and a front loader over there every time I need to buy seeds and fertilizer. I'd rather have like a forklift there that loads it, or have a way where when I buy stuff, I can drive up and it automatically loads it on a trailer for me or something like that, you know? So those little things like that, they're a little bit annoying that they didn't follow through with it and go a little bit further. Other things that are a little bit annoying is like modeling in the rear view camera into the combine here, but not actually doing it. It's nothing more than putting in a mirror. They model the mirrors in, and that's all the rear view camera is another mirror. So why not model it into the game? Really disappointed with that. They could have done that. It would have been simple, but they didn't do it. So that's a complete letdown. But the sound packages in the game are incredible. The optimization of the game is incredible. It's running just as smooth as it could be for everybody, it seems like. I can turn my speed down. I just noticed it was on 15 instead of real time. So, but yeah, the optimization is really nice. The mod hub implementation is pretty cool. To have a hub where you can get your mods from is nice. Though I don't know how much it's going to get used by people who are doing external mods. But it is a nice feature to have, especially for the giant mods, you know. And to get your updates to mods right there would be nice. Alright, so we'll get this field done. Oh yeah, I left out a piece of machinery I want to get. I want to get a windrow, a loading wagon. But it's going to cost a lot of money. If I could find a couple of missions that pay really well, something around, let's say $20,000-$30,000. If I could find a couple of those and get them knocked out real quick, that would give me the money to get the plow, the front loader, pallets, and a loading wagon or a forage wagon. And then I would be able to get all this straw up out of the field, sell it off as well. I don't think baling technology is within reach right now in the beginning of the game. I think that'll be something that comes off down the line. But one of the really cool things about, you know, the new Farm Sim 17 too is the Tip Anywhere feature, which in essence allows you to do bulk storage of grains or windrow without having to have it actually defined on a map. So there's no more of having to have map creators put specific areas for you, put windrow, grass, chaff, all that other stuff. I can basically just load it up with the loading wagon, pull it over here somewhere on the farm and drop it off, and I've got it now sitting there on the ground stored. The only problem you're going to have with that, I would see though, is if you have withering turned on. I don't know if windrow will wither sitting on the ground in bulk storage like that. Because in the past, in 15, if you had withering turned on, windrow would rot And when it got to that point where a farm would or a field would wither, the windrow would be no longer usable. So you couldn't make bales out of it. So a little bit curious about that. If I scoop windrow up with the forage wagon, does it change the state of it to where when I deposit it on the ground using the tip anywhere feature, will it then be considered something other than straw? Well, you know, where it won't rot. Does that make sense? Because if the game sees straw as straw wherever it's at, and it has a timer on it to wither, and you're using withering, if it were sitting in the field, it would wither. If it was sitting on the side of the field, it would wither as well. It would have to change the collecting it with the forage wagon would have to change the state of it so that it would no longer wither, I would think. So that's one of those things that I have to think about in my head and wonder. Because when you were doing it in 15 or any other game, or in 15, when you did it in 15, once you deposited into a silo or a bunker, it was no longer, you know, it was no longer vegetation. It was just a digit. And so it couldn't spoil in a silo. So it just, I don't know, something to think about. We'll find out, I'm sure. Alright, so field is done. Let's switch over and turn off the combine. Put our pipe out. Grab our trailer and get it over here and go ahead and dump our field out, or dump our grain into it. And then we'll go take it over to the silo and deposit it there. Love all the sounds. Love the sounds, love the sounds, love the sounds. So, gonna play a little third person here. I know I'm gonna get a lot of yelled at for driving too much in first person, but I love first person now that I've got track IR in it. It's, you know, I was one of those people when I started playing Farm Sim that played in third person all the time. I couldn't stand first person because you didn't have that you didn't have the ability to look around and have the perspective of being actually in a tractor, and I felt like my view was limited. But having track IR installed, that all changes, and it's actually so much more enjoyable playing in cab than it is in third person. Third person, I gotta constantly move the camera around and stuff, and it's just one of those things. So all right, let's dump this out real quick off the back of the trailer, and then we'll go catch another load. All right. One of the coolest thing I think about, and a lot of people ask me about track IR, because I find it interesting that not everybody knows about track IR. At this point in its development and everything, it's been around for a while now. I think most people knew what track IR is, but they don't. And we talked a little bit about what it was and all that other stuff. But I mean, the things you can do with track IR that you just can't do with mouse and keyboard is, like, if I'm rotating my camera with mouse and keyboard, I'm rotating it on this axis and this axis alone, right? But track IR gives me so much more. I can actually lean over like this. I can lean over like this and see what's going on. So if I want to look around something, I can actually do it. If I need to look around so I can see around that exhaust pipe, I can move my head and look to see so much more. So I can lean over here, turn my head. I'm on a complete different axis now. And that's what is amazing about track IR, and the reason why it just adds so much to your game for realism, and it makes it just like you're in a tractor driving and working in a field. The only thing missing is having your kidneys beat to death going over the bumps in the field, or not having air conditioning and sweating, or gnats flying in your face the whole day. So, all right, let's dump this load out, and this time let's switch it around a little bit. We'll bring up the help menu, and I'll use the switch key here to switch to the grain door, and we'll dump out the grain door this time. I really like that they added that feature into it. That was a mod that somebody did in 15 that allowed you to switch how you were going to tip the trailer. I like that they added in, because using your grain doors or your grain drops is a nice little feature to be able to use. But again, I'll try not to be trapped into first person all the time, because I know a lot of you people hate that view, because you want to see the scenery and the map and all that other stuff. You people. No, I know there's a lot of folks who don't like first person. They like third person. That lets them see more of the scenery and everything. But again, I play to go for a more realistic game, and so I play the game for it to be more like farming in real life. And I don't have a drone flying behind the combine or behind the tractor in real life, so that's the reason I do it the way I do it. All right, so we'll fold up our pipe, and I'll go ahead and close at the top there, and we'll go park this guy, and then we'll look at the map and we'll see what jobs are available, so we can try to make a little bit of money here, and move forward with our farming. Spin her around here. There we go. Switch into reverse, back up. Now, the one thing about using drive control, though, is if I run in drive control, as I normally do with the shuttle mode, is I lose the backup buzzer on this. But that's all right. Doesn't bother me that much. All right, switch over to the front. Let's lower that down to the ground, and I'm going to go disconnect it so there's no weight laying on the front of my combine. That just releases the stress off of it. Helps lessen the amount of breakage on your equipment. Less stress, less maintenance. All right, so let's head over here to our pick-em-up truck, and we're gonna go find us a job and go do it. Love the pickup truck too, because I had a pickup truck like this for a long time in real life, and yeah, actually mine had a foot starter on it. It was so old. But anyways, let's jump into the menu system here, and let's see what's going on. I do have I've got withering turned off, but I do have plant growth to normal as well. So all right, let's look and see what is available for harvest right now. Let's see. Fields, I keep hitting the wrong button. Fields are available for harvest. 9 is ready to harvest. That's not going to pay a whole lot of money. 1 is ready for harvest. 25, 28, 29, 23. Field 9 and field 20 are available for harvest. These two big fields are going to take a lot of time to do, probably an hour, hour and a half to harvest them, but they're going to pay off really well on the mission. So let's see what's in them. This one is soybean, and this one is wheat. I think we go down to 20 and see. I mean, 5 is going to take a lot of time. That's a big, huge field, and it'll probably pay a big, huge payday. Well, 20 though. What states are they in? I guess that's the biggest thing to look at. Is let's look at what growth state they're in. 20 is right on the line of spoilage. And we'll have more time. We may be able to do 20 and then go back and do 5 because it's just now ripe. So let's do that. Let's go down to 20, talk to the farm owner there, and see if they want to let us harvest their field. So start her up and we'll get going. All right. Now I know I could port over there by using the map system, But again, I like to do things more a little bit realistic. And someone draw my pickup truck over there. Even the speedo works in this thing. That's cool. But yeah, I like doing things a little bit more realistic. I think that's, you know, one of the things that sets me aside from other people who play the game is I tend to do things a little bit more on the realistic side. So driving my pickup truck over to the job is one of those things. All right, looks like we can get on out of here. One of the things we learned about this game, though, is AI is pretty aggressive. They'll run you over if you're not careful. So, you gotta be careful when you're pulling out in front of them. They will run into you. All right, here's our job area here. Wait for this car to go by. There we go. And we want to park over here to the side a little bit. One thing I've learned about the mission systems in just messing around a little bit is you don't want, if you do drive over here like so, you don't want to pull up right to this beacon, because the equipment that you use won't be able to port in, so you won't be able to take the job. So all right, let's look at it. Hey, I'm a bit of pickle. Maybe you could help. This field is ready earlier than I expected. My regular guys are tied up with other work. If I don't get this harvested quickly, it'll go past prime and useless to me. $30,408 is a small price to pay compared to that. Yeah, it is. All right, so we get 76 minutes to harvest this field. Yeah, I think we can do that. So let's go ahead, and they're going to give us the Verifeed CR. They're going to give us the New Holland with the track on it. So let's go ahead and start that job. Well, we should be able to knock this baby out. So if it's a $30,000 job, if we get it done quick, we should get plenty of bonus money as well. I mean, if you could get half of that in bonus cash, man, we could make some cash here. Well, the equipment's just not placed in a good area, is it? Let's let that vehicle go, and then we'll come back around. And we'll pick that up. There we go. All right, grab that. Let's unfold the unit. That's sort of a bummer getting the New Holland. I mean, come on, I used this enough in the other game. All right, let's go ahead and start that up. Get lined up on here. Let's get inside. Turn our GPS on. Set the width for the field. Lock the GPS in. Pull on up. Let's adjust our thresher arm down a little bit. Come on. Oh, it doesn't want to adjust, does it? Wait, I'm not on it. Here we go. Now I should be able to adjust that down a little bit. Maybe kick it out a little bit. There we go. Now let's pull it back up so that it's just at the height of there. We're good. Let's go. Nice. There we go. All is good. Put our cruise control on, and we'll start cutting this field. We'll do one lap around it, put a headland on it, and then we will we'll start going up and down the field and cut her down. So cool things about the missions. I was a little concerned the first time I tried them out. I really wasn't sure what you did with like a big huge field like this, because clearly a field like this would take several passes and unloadings to do, but you don't have to unload when you're doing a mission, which is a little bit bizarre to me. I thought maybe with the whole tip anywhere thing, part of the mission would be you harvest, and then once you got a full tank on your combine, you go ahead and dump the load in the field, and then keep on harvesting, dump your load, and then it would just magically an AI would come with a truck later on and grab it. But you don't even have to do that. You just run the harvester the entire time, And magically, as you get up to around 80-90%, the harvester slows way down on filling up, and it never will actually fill up, so you don't have to worry at all about clearing out whatever you've harvested, which is, I don't know, I think that's a little cheap. I would have rather see them add a little bit more time in it, and you have to either dump into a pile for the AI to get, or an AI truck appears and you fill it up. All right, there's that. Let's back up a little bit, raise our head while we back up. There we go. Go to a 45-degree angle and then go back into it. And we should be able to turn. There we go, and head on across. And we'll start cutting across the top of this field. Getting there. Now, you don't have to get these fields 100% cut. And one of the things we were talking about today was, wouldn't it be cool that if you did the job for the farmer, and when you got it done and you had like completed the task, and they said, okay, well, you've done it, here's your payday. Wouldn't it be cool that they gave you the option to cut the overage as well and make a little bit more money? Either you could cut the overage for yourself and go sell it, or you just cut the overage and it calculated that and gave it to you in the end as a bonus. But yeah, they don't do that. But the mission system itself is, again, it's a nice way to make a little extra money. I mean, we're gonna make 30 grand here, possibly 40, maybe 45, depending on how well we do with the time constraint and how fast we get the field harvested. In case you haven't done any of the missions yet, you basically harvest the field. If you get the job done in the time limit, which is in the counter in the upper corner, if you get it done in that time limit, you get paid, and you get paid handsomely for it. And if you really get it, if there's any time left over, you get a little bit of a time bonus, which is a percentage of however much money you were paid. So for example, if you were paid, I did a job messing around, and it was a $6,000 job to cut a small field. Got it done with plenty of time left over, and I got another extra $3,000 for the time bonus. So you can definitely make a little bit of extra cash by being efficient and getting the job done. Now, the one thing about the mission system, though, is don't start a mission if you can't finish it. If you gotta stop, save the game, and get out of the game for any reason, the mission doesn't save. So you gotta start the mission, you gotta do it. The only thing that you can save yourself with is pause the game, and you can come back to it. Speaking of which, a lot of people haven't realized this. If you go into the escape menu like so, this does not pause the game. The game is still running in the background. The only way to pause the game is to come into the menu and hit pause game. That's the only way you can stop the game and pause it. Otherwise, if you go into the menu, time's still ticking away. So keep that in mind. That's the difference in 15 and 17. Where in 17, if you needed to pause the game, you just hit the escape key into the menu and walked off and did your business, came back, and resumed what you were doing. Here you actually have to jump in there, hit the pause button to pause the game, pause the time. And again, if you've got a mission running, you'll want to do that, and leave your game running in the background on your computer. Don't close the game out, because if you close the game out, you lose the mission. It says it clearly there that missions don't, progress on missions are not saved with a game save or closing the game down. I had a friend who didn't see that and said, man, I started my mission and I had to go do some stuff. I closed my game, I came back, and the mission was gone. Sorry about that. Read. All right, so rolling on across here. And I need to do more reading. I know that. Like, there's little things about this game that I slowly but surely am figuring out. But if I took the time to actually sit down and read all of the tutorials, I would probably understand a bit more better about it and not be making mistakes. And I wouldn't have to question myself on things like, oh, do I need to dump that load in the field or what, you know? All right. So we'll harvest this up. And you guys know I'm not one to edit my videos down and cut them down to 30-minute videos or anything else like that. So what we'll do is I will probably harvest most of this field here with you guys, and then whatever we don't get done today in this video, I'll finish up and I'll get to a point where I can stop, and we'll resume in the next video with basically just the last little bit of it. You guys can see what I get paid and what kind of time bonus I get for it. And that way you don't have to sit through this whole field. And then we'll go work on another field as well. With $30,000, though, that's going to give us quite a bit of money. I think the plow is like 22,000 alone. And then we should be able to get a front loader arm for a couple of thousand and some pallets for a few $100s. So that part of it is paid for by completing this job. And they should be able to get like a cheap forage wagon for probably about 30,000. So we'll have to we'll probably have to do one more job before we start resetting our farm. But look at it this way, it's harvest season. It's not planting season. We've already done our harvesting on our little bitty farm. And we'll spend harvest season helping out some of these other farmers and get a little money in our pocket, build up our reputation for them. So when it comes time to expand our farms and buy more property, it won't be nearly as painful for us. There we go. I do also like that they fixed in the game now that you can't harvest fields you don't own. I always thought that was a huge exploit in 15, to be able to go cut corn or something on a field that you didn't even own. And the fact that they fixed that in this is nice. All right, lower that head down and get to cutting again. So we were talking a little bit earlier about Upside Down working on cattle and crops. Man, I gotta tell you, they sent out a new video, I guess it was yesterday. If you're in the Kickstarter program for cattle and crops, each week you get an update from the devs about what they're working on and showcasing different abilities in the game and things else like that. And the update that they gave yesterday was phenomenal. It is the weather system in cattle and crops. And let me just say, the seasons in cattle and crops, their calendar year is 365 days. And the weather, there are 4 distinct weather patterns in the game, so that in the summer you've got lush green vegetation everywhere. The trees are full of leaves. Everything looks beautiful. As you transition into autumn, into late fall, the leaves start to change colors. They get a little golden, the ambers, your reds, and things like that you get in the fall, where the leaves change over. And as you move into the winter, the leaves fall off the trees. You're left with trunks and just limbs for trees there. Your evergreens maybe are still going to be green, but your your trees like your oaks, things like that, they're going to lose their leaves. And so you're just left with trees and limbs. There's snow in the game. There's actually snow-covered ground. Now, they did in the presentation they took the rain and the fog out. Basically, I guess they took the precipitation out of the game in order to show the seasons changing without the turbulence of the weather as far as the rain, the fog, things of that nature. So I didn't actually get to see if they've actually put snow into the game, but they did show snow on the ground in the game. So if there's snow on the ground, I gotta assume it snows at some point in the game, which just means that game can be so awesome. If they put snow into the game to where it snows during the winter, and if they put accumulation on the roads, that would just be amazing, because all you guys who like to play winter Burenholm and go through there and run snow shovels and use your farm equipment to go shovel snow, if they add that into cattle and crops, that'll be like mind-blowing, you know, because then you could make a little bit of money during the summer shoveling snow for the city and helping clear roads or something. I don't know if they'll arcade it up like that, though, because I know they are looking for it to be a true farm simulation. But let's be honest, farmers in real life in the winter, they use their equipment to clear snow for churches, apartment complexes, for civic organizations. You know, I've got friends who farm up north who, you know, that's the way they count on the snow for extra income. And they have a client list of like churches, kindergartens, places like that, that when the call goes out for snow, they go get their tractors, put some plows on them, and they're, you know, in some buckets, and they're ready to go out there, and they plow the roads, and they plow their you know, other people's parking lots for them for money. And it's not uncalled that a farmer would be out plowing snow in the middle of the winter with his equipment. So I don't know if they'll add it in or not, but I think that would be a neat aspect for them to include in the game, because it is a part of real life, and that's not something I would balk at. It would be something I'd be like, that's cool. It might not be everybody's cup of tea. It might not be something that you want to do, but it is something that goes on out there. All right. But yeah, watching that video, I was just amazed. I was just like, you gotta be kidding me. This is awesome, you know? That game is just shaping up to be everything we thought it was gonna be. And looking forward to early spring when I get my hands on it. Farm Sim 17 is gonna be a big warm-up to it. But when it comes out, man, prepare to have your mind blown, I think. The AI in it is unreal. Like, the AI in this game will run you over. It will come up. If you make a turn in front of it with a trailer, there's a good chance they're going to run into your trailer, knock it off. There's a good chance they're just going to rear end you. There is some of the AI in the game will actually, if you stand in front of a car, it will stop. Now, I did notice that. And even tractors, if you hire help and get out of the tractor won't move if you're standing in the way of it. So that's cool as far as that goes, but it's nothing compared to the logic that the AI in Cattle and Crops has. In Farm Sim, you can actually hire a worker and they'll farm the field, but you have to have the tractor in the field, press the hired button, and they'll start going from there. In Cattle and Crops, you can hire the worker at the farm, and he will actually find his way to the field and start doing his operations in the field, and when he's done, find his way back to the farm. And the intelligence of the AI is such that they've been testing the AI's intelligence to the point that it has pathfinding, and can even detect, like, if there's a vehicle in front of them coming at them, they can detect that they need to either move out of the way or whatever so that both of them pass and don't create a bottleneck. Mind-blowing, right? Which means you can also hire an AI to unload your tractor, your combine. He'll unload the combine, take it, dump it for you at the shop, and come back to the field. No course play needed. Somebody was asking today, well, I hope they're going to have course play for it. You don't need course play. The guys who are doing course play are developing the game, and they're making the AI smart enough that you don't need course play in the game. And I just think that's amazing, man. Really, really looking forward to that game and seeing what they've done with it, because it just seems like, as far as simulation goes, it's going to be heads above what Farm Sim is. Farm Sim to me is going to look like an arcade game compared to that thing. But it's not going to be everybody's cup of tea either, I think, because if it is as much of a simulation as they let on it's going to be, I think it might be over a few people's heads. It might be more than they want. Because there's a lot of people who don't really want to work at farming. They want to get in here, harvest some fields. They really want to harvest some fields, cut things down, and destroy stuff. They don't really like to plant. They don't really like to plow or cultivate or anything. They want the easiest path available to get to the end result, which is a field that they can harvest with a combine. And they even lose interest with that pretty quick. So, like I say, if it's as detail oriented as it should be, I think there will be a lot of people who won't be interested in it because it'll be just too much for them. But for me, I'm like, bring it on. More is better. I mean, that's one thing I like about Farm Sim too, is the addition of 3 fertilization states in the field. That's more to do. That's more to bring into the game. I would have liked to have seen them spread out the growth stage more over a couple of days than just one day, but it is what it is. But it's kind of nice. It'll keep you busier. It'll be one of those things where, okay, I can plant my field. And before, you like planted your field, unless you were going to go do forestry or mow or something like that, you basically planted your field and then you had to wait for 24 hours in game to pass before you had something to do again. Now at least you have the fields planted. You can go do a side job. By the time you finish the side job, it's time to go back and fertilize your field for the second application of fertilizer. Then go back and do a side job, and then you go back and it's time to do your third application. Do a side job, go back, and now it's time to harvest. So with the improvements that they've made in the game, they've definitely made it to where there's constantly something for you to do in the game without having to fast forward the game through. And you pretty much can leave the game in real time and always have something to do in the game. And I like that. I like that they've made that improvement to it. Alright, as I look at the clock, we're getting late on time here. I don't like to do over an hour, but I don't like to do those 30-minute videos. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and work on finishing this field up. We're almost to halfway. We're not completely to halfway. But as you see, my grain tank is up at 82%. It's not completely full, but it's going to slow way down, and it's not going to take any more grain hardly in. But I'm still doing the job, and as soon as I get to the end of it, I will get paid. But we're doing good because we started out with like 73 minutes to do this particular job. We're at 54 now, so we've been 20 minutes in it and we're almost halfway through the field. So we should beat the timer on this and maybe have a little left over for a time bonus. In all honesty, I probably should just drive around in circles on this and keep myself constantly moving in this to maximize my yield. Or actually, I could go into GPS as well and set up the auto turns and have it just automatically turn for me at the top of the field so I don't waste any time backing up. But I feel like I'll be able to beat the timer doing it the way I'm doing it. But if you want to maximize your time, probably driving around in circles is the easiest way for it. And that will probably get you done much faster. You'll even have more of a time difference in there, so you can get paid a little bit more on the time bonus. But I'm good with the way I'm doing it. Anyways, I'll keep hammering at it, and I'll get this field almost done, and we'll start off the next video. I should be done with this field at that point, and we'll see how much we get paid. Until then, you guys stay safe. Thanks for your support. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button and come back and join me for our next farm sim video. Until then, stay safe. Have a great day. I'll see you later. Bye-bye. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, I hope you consider giving it a like, maybe even sharing it with your friends. It does help me out a tremendous amount and is greatly appreciated. Also, leave some comments down below. That's really the only way I can gauge if you guys are enjoying what's being put out. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you want daily notifications. I try to do a new video each and every day. Also, if you want to stay in touch with me and find out what's going on, our social links are down in the bottom left-hand corner. Twitter is where I usually announce schedule changes, live streams, and new video releases. Facebook's a great way to get in touch with me if you have any questions to ask. And of course, I am trying to get to 1,000 followers on Google+, which I know I'll probably be old and gray before that happens. But if you can jump over there and follow me, it would be super awesome. So if you like today's video, there's a whole lot more content on the channel. I hope you'll browse through it, find something to keep yourself entertained until the next video or live stream. Speaking of live streams, I try to do them nightly around 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Until the next time, thanks again for watching. See you soon.